Morning, everyone. My name is Tim Selden. I'm the president of the Montessori Foundation, and this is our weekly broadcast of finding the perfect match, how to recruit and retain your ideal enrollment, and build a strong school community and minimize attrition. The Montessori Foundation hosts this every week with our colleague and partner, Ames, and my dear friend, president and founder of Ames, Clint Lausch. Clint, I'll let you start with the usual housekeeping.
Yep. Appreciate it, Tim. Yeah, and these are always recorded, and you can always go to the Montessori Foundation's YouTube page to get the recordings. And every single week, I know we've got a lot of new faces on here, and if you haven't been with us before, every single week we're typically talking about something marketing and admissions related to help find those ideal families for your school. And one of the you're all likely very familiar with Tim and the Montessori Foundation and with myself, with our aims, with our marketing and admissions software platform, we recently partnered with Montessori Compass as well to really have an all-in-one suite. Our goal is to help schools simplify, reduce the amount of tools necessary in order to do your marketing and admissions. And one of those big pieces, especially as we think about marketing, is getting found in the search engines, which we all kind of know intuitively. Like when a parent types in best Montessori school near me,
Yeah.
you want to show up at the top, right? We all kind of know that intuitively. But what's raised its ugly head this year, or I guess in the past year and a half, is that AI search. One of the most common things I've been asked about recently is, what about those AI search results? How do we get found there? And that could be in Google, that could be in ChatGPT, that could be in Gemini. Um, so the whole concept of search engine optimization, how you get found, it's one of those things where you're very dependent upon the algorithm and how these algorithms do their ranking. And those algorithms do change. And what I wanted to share today was what you need to know in order to give yourself the best opportunity to show up at the top of Google, to show up at the top, or just potentially show up in those AI search results where the AI is giving you an answer. Or if you go directly to ChatGPT, what if you go to ChatGPT and it says, I'm in the Philadelphia area and I'm looking for a Montessori school. Can you give me a breakdown of the best schools for me? How do you get shown in those results potentially? Because not every school will. And I will say there are things that you can actually do to give yourself the best opportunity to show in those results. And one of the things, if anybody wants to hang on at the end, I'll share with you is that we now have AI SEO integrated into our software. It's one of the things that you can actually turn on to um, to help you with your ranking. So if you're not a user of the software, or even if you don't have to use the software, we're going to be offering this as a standalone. If you're interested in learning more about that, we could talk about that at the end. We can schedule some time and show you how it all works just to make your life easy. Because look, when it comes to search engine optimization, it's one of those things where it's almost like a full-time gig to try to do all the things that these search engines want you to do to rank, and we'll talk about a lot of those. So there's tools now, there's AI tools that actually make it push button easy, and it used to be you had to go pay an agency $1,000 a month to do your search engine optimization. And the long and short of it is that is not the case anymore, which is really, really cool. So that's what we're going to talk about today. And Tim, I have some notes, some deck material. I'm happy to go through. I would certainly, again, if you're new to this, let's have a conversation. This is not designed necessarily to be a webinar presentation. It is designed to be more interactive, conversational. So, with that being said, who's here has actively tried to do search engine optimization, whether it's yourself or maybe you hired an agency? Has anybody here gone and put in the work one way or the other to try to rank at the top of search engines?
Not seeing anyone responding. And I think what's
Yeah.
going on is it's lunchtime. People are on the phone. They're doing other things. That's perfectly normal. I will say, as we get started, that one of the reasons why the Montessori Foundation and you sponsor this is obviously we like to make new friends and connect with old ones. But what we're doing is offering you really valuable um, advice that you would normally pay $200 and more an hour for. We do it because, frankly, I'm old enough that I'm happy to give this away and do whatever I can to help. We believe that this is an age when it is more important than ever for private schools to stay on top of things, to do everything possible for all kinds of reasons. The economy is uncertain, the world is uncertain. Public schools are trying harder and harder to, recruit new families. If you happen to be Sidwell Friends or the Collegiate School and or, whatever, Francis W. Parker in Chicago, if you're one of the really mega schools, you're probably okay. But if you're like everyone else, you're probably working hard to make sure that every seat is filled, or you're not filling every seat. Digital marketing is part of it. Billboards work, direct mail works, lots of things work, word of mouth works. But what we're trying to do in this particular 1 hour a week is share with you between Clint and I, we're giving you almost 100 years of combined experience in doing this work in the advertising field, in the independent school leadership field, in marketing and building community and reducing attrition down as low as 5% a year. So we hope you get value out of it. And of course, we always love to hear from you, whether we're boring you to death or whether you feel like you're getting real value out of it, or whether you find like you're glad to sit in and you got people walking in the office and doing what happens to all of us who run independent schools. If you listen to this later, are we meeting your needs? We really would love to know, are you finding value in this? And is there something we can do to make it better? Today, though, we're looking specifically at search engine optimization, which has to do with how do people find anything you put online, whether it's a whole website or a landing page. How do you make the phone ring? I will mention, Clint, you run an advertising agency for independent schools called Ames. I know that it's got another life called Montessori Grow Suite for those people who are involved in the Montessori school community. For those of you who are not involved with Montessori, we are by far the largest system of independent schools in the world. I know that sounds weird because we are not under one roof, but there are 25,000 Montessori schools in the world. Many of them are preschool, many of them go through high school. The largest private school in the world, look it up in Guinness Book of World Records, was founded and run by the Gandhi family. That's called the City Montessori School. So there are all kinds of schools, and some of you may be here from Montessori, but we love you whether you're from a Quaker school or whether you're from an Episcopalian school or a Christian school, a Jewish day school, a charter school. We're here for everyone. Montessori Foundation is a nonprofit private school consulting support system. That's what we do. My family started this work in 1932. The Barry School is almost 100 years old now. That's where we started. Um, Montessori Foundation was founded as an outgrowth of the Barry School in 1992, and we're here to help. So the bottom line is we may mention Montessori a lot, but please don't be turned off by that. We understand all kinds of schools of all sorts, large and small, for-profit, nonprofit, you name it. So, Clint, today we're going to talk about search engine optimization. Before we start, can I just ask all of you who are online, have your microphones unmuted or are sitting there able to type? Just tell us, where are you from? What school are you with? What's your role? And are you finding this useful? And do you have any questions? We'd love to hear from you. And I'm monitoring the chat. How about you, Michelle? You don't have
Hi.
to unmute. Look, hi,
Um,
Michelle.
Hi. I'm Michelle. I'm the director with Good Shepherd Montessori in Vancouver, Washington.
That's great. We're really certainly being a Montessori child, Montessori teacher trainer. I'm really glad to meet you.
Thank you.
How about you? 735 7345 teacher. Who are you? You don't have to unmute, but I love putting people on the spot. All right. No one's talking today. It's all right. Clint, do your thing. Talk to us.
All
Oh,
right.
Susan. Susan's got her hand up. Hi.
Or
Oh,
is
I'm
it no
sorry.
Sorby?
Hi,
Sorby.
yeah,
Hi,
I'm Surbi.
Sorby.
I'm the director of the Unitarian Montessori in New Jersey.
Of
We've been
course.
here 40 years. I spoke to Tim recently. We're now struggling with enrollment after 40 years because of free, not actually free, but subsidized pre-K in
Sure.
our township. So yeah, I would love to hear this. And these workshops are extremely useful. I try my best to log in every Thursday. Truly grateful to the work that you all do. Thank you.
Thanks, dear. And I look forward to
Appreciate it.
meeting you in person someday. Again, we've been around a long time, and this is our gift to you. Anyone else?
Hi, my
Okay.
name is Dean.
Hi.
How's it going? I am from Montessori Way School, Orlando, Florida. I am second generation running a private Montessori from preschool to sixth grade.
And tell me what school you're with again?
Montessori Way School.
Oh, that's great. Really good to see you
Yeah,
or not see you.
we've been. I will. Here, you can see me now. It's not a great picture, but it is. I wasn't ready for this. I love Thursdays. I love the foundation. We have been coming to your conferences. Our team and I, we're small, but we do engage and we do get a lot from these sessions that you put on. So I appreciate all that you do for the community.
As a second generation in my school too, did you grow up with a mother who was running your school?
We started the school 30 years ago. We celebrated our 30th last
There you
year.
go.
And
I remember as a kid being dragged into that school every Saturday and Sunday and making materials, repairing materials, doing the gardens, feeding the chickens. And I also grew up with the children of people running other kinds of schools, from Catholic schools to prep schools, you name it. And I've come to
I
really
started in
value.
corporate. I didn't think I would ever do Montessori growing up in it. I was like, absolutely not. There is no way I will ever do it. And until I had my own children and
Mhm.
saw how amazing Montessori was, that I fell in love, quit my corporate job, and just started doing the business end of this. And I love every minute. I just recently took my 3 to 6 training. I'm doing my 6 to 9 training to understand more. I'm basically Montessori all the way in, and I don't think I'll be coming out anytime soon.
Well, again, one of the things I learned a long time ago is whether you're a Montessori or a monastery or
Hmm.
military academy or a prep school, every one of us loves our school, um, does everything we can for every kid we've got, and we're all in it together. So, well, I love Montessori. I love everyone else too. And I'm really glad to meet you. And I hope since I get to Orlando a lot, I hope someday we'll meet each other.
Yeah, you are welcome. The doors are open anytime. Just stop by. We'd love to have you.
Thanks. All right. Mr. Clint, do your thing. Tell us about SEO. That's your expertise.
Let's
Oh,
yeah, it's one of those
oh,
pieces of the puzzle um, when it comes to that journey that families go on to find a school that's the right fit for them. And if anybody was on, if you were on those Thursday webinars, you probably, let me share my screen. I'm going to be hopping between different screens today, or different documents, I should say. Um, let me pull this up. Where is it? Okay, so if you were part of last week's webinar, if we had a lot of data about how families were searching for schools, and one of the top ways that 54%, according to this one survey, 54% of newly enrolled families started with online search. And that was in large part due to Google. Now, this is from a year ago that only 4% used AI search engines. However, that is rapidly rising at the moment. So we're not just going to talk about AI search today, but I think it would be, if I use the phrase marketing malpractice, if we don't at least think about and start getting prepared for it. Because with how fast things are moving, I think if you can be an early adopter to using it, you can find yourself in these AI searches a whole lot easier, because I guarantee you almost no school is going to be doing this. So we're going to talk about exactly what you need to do, and give you some tools in order to help you do it at the end here. So we know families are on these search engines. We know they're searching on Google. We know that in Google now there's AI search. So I want to talk about how to give yourself the best opportunity to show up at the top of Google, because just so you're aware, let me do this. Let's go to what is the best private school in the Philadelphia area? I'm just going to type something in as if I'm a parent. Okay, so look what I got here. What's the best private school in the Philadelphia area? I've got an AI result now. So this is the new thing, right? The new as in, maybe last even 6 to 12 months. The question is, how do you show up now in this search, right? There's AI search. Now, previously, this did not exist. And when this did not exist, your top search results were always your ads. So you get 4 ads here at the top. So these are all on a pay-per-click basis. Then you typically have maps. Now you don't see that here because I didn't search specifically for it. I'll give you a search that shows up in the maps. And then you have your organic listings here. Now let me just show. Let's do private schools near me. Private schools near me. Now we have these maps listings, right? So how do we show up in the AI search? How do we? The nice part is it's really easy to show up here. You just go pay Google and you could show up at the top. How do you show up here, and how do you show up here? Because more than 60% of all clicks on Google are in these top 3 search results. Once you start getting down here, no clicks happen pretty much. And especially when you get to page 2, clicks are not happening. People are not going to page 2. So you really want to find yourself in the top here. In the perfect world, you're in all 4 spots. AI, you have an ad, you're in the maps, and you're in organic search. And so we're going to talk about how to actually do that today, because we know so much is happening. So if anybody's sitting there saying, hey, how do I get more families? This is going to be one of those things that you can do. I will put this caveat out there that when it comes to search engine optimization, it is typically a longer process, right? If I wanted to show up at the top today, I could go to Google, run an ad, pay for the keywords that I want to pay for, and I could show up there today or tomorrow. If you want to show up organically and you're not there already, maybe you're on page 2 or page 3 for a term like this, or Montessori schools near me. You're not. If you do that and you're not showing up here, top 3, but you're on page 2 or 3, the question is, how do we get there? How long does it take? There's some factors there. It could take a couple months. It could take 6 months. It could take 12 months in a really competitive, for some keywords that are really, really competitive. But the old saying is the best time to start SEO was yesterday. The next time to start it is today, because the quicker you start it, you're starting that clock, and you're giving yourself that opportunity to rank. And you could get hundreds, if not thousands, of more clicks to your website from families that are searching best private school near me, Montessori schools, schools with financial aid, whatever it might be. You're giving yourself the best shot. Before I continue down the SEO rabbit hole here, does anybody have any questions about SEO? It's such a convoluted topic, and what I have found is sometimes when people go down that rabbit hole, they have a lot of questions, or it's like they kind of know they want to be at the top, but they don't really know maybe how to do it. But has anybody really dove into SEO, or does anybody have any questions about SEO and ranking and search? Just out of curiosity. let's do a quick poll here. You don't even have to unmute. Type in a 1 if you're familiar and know what to do with SEO. Type in a 2 if it's like concept is kind of foreign. I know I want to rank there, but I've never even dove into the topic. 2, 1, 2, a couple twos, a 1, 3 twos. All right. All right. Okay. Good. 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 So that's helpful. All right. So in general, though, that's how we want to rank. The question is, okay, we got another 2. All right. So a lot of, hey, I know I want to rank, but don't really know how to do it. So we're going to talk a little bit about how to do it. I could probably run a multi-day workshop on the nitty-gritty of this, and that is not what today is designed to do, because when we start going down that rabbit hole, you'll all probably start falling asleep. I might start falling asleep as I'm presenting it, in terms of what needs to be done. But I do want to give you the what you need to be aware of, how to, in general, how to do it, and then especially how to show up in the AI search. So here's a presentation I gave at one point. And I kind of went through this already, which was understanding the search results. You get 4 ads, you get 4 maps, up to 4 maps listings, you get the organic results, and now you get that AI search, which really goes above that. And here's some good things to know. 80% of clicks are on non-ads. The top 3 organic results get 60% of the clicks. We'll talk about how to do some keyword research. So this is one of the really cool things that you can do if you're not familiar with this. There are a lot of tools out there. We have one of them that allows you to do it allows you to check on search volume. Like how many people in my area are actually searching for private schools near me, private schools in St. Louis, Montessori schools, St. Louis, kindergartens in St. Louis, right? How many people are actually searching for it? How difficult is it to rank for that keyword? And where does our school sit? Where do we sit? And what I would say is when we're done this session today, if you want to book some time, we'll do a report for you. We'll get on a call, we'll do a report and show you exactly what your opportunities are, what your rankings are, and go through all this. So you don't have to go pay for any sort of you typically have to pay for the software to do this. So we can do this for you. It doesn't cost you anything. But it gives you a sense of, hey, that's pretty cool. There's some really good search volume. You can see here St. Louis, by the way. This is a lot of search volume. If you added up all these numbers, I know it may be a little bit small, but this is a lot of search volume happening for private schools, independent schools, early childhood, that if you found yourself in the top of the search rankings, you could get thousands and thousands of more clicks to your website that essentially you're not paying for. Um, yeah, this is where I wanted to go to next. And let me go here. Oh, actually, let me do this before we start diving in as well. Now, you may have seen me as type in a 1 if you've seen me present this. Type in a 2 if you've never seen me present this on the family journey. If everybody's seen this, I won't spend time on it.
Okay.
Couple twos. Okay. So let me share this with you because I think this is really important that if anybody's sitting there saying, hey, we want to fill more seats, what are the ways that we can do it? Is that families do go through a journey. Let's do presenter view here. So I call this the family journey. And this is backed up by data. A lot of the data that was in this report that we had on last week's webinar, the parent research data about how families are searching for schools. So at first, they start with awareness. They need to be aware that you exist. Part of that comes into findability. How can we make sure that we are found and stand out in search? Obviously, we're going to talk about this part today. And then there's reputation, looking at your reviews, reading your website, reading your content, talking with friends and family. And then at that point, they decide to come to an open house, to come for a campus tour, right? So there's this entire digital journey that they're going through. And that's why it's so important to focus on findability, that if you're not getting found, you're missing a huge chunk because 70% of the decision making is done digitally before they talk with anybody at your school. So we want to make sure we're giving yourself the best chance to get found, right? So I just wanted to highlight that. And now let's dive into, I want everybody to be aware of what impacts your rankings. And at the end of the day, there are two main things that if you said, hey, I want to show up at the top of Google, there are two things you can do. The first thing you want to do is optimize your website. Now, what does optimize your website mean? I'll get into that here in a second. But it's called on-page SEO, and then there's off-page SEO. A lot of people are very familiar with on-page, right? If you've ever had a website built, maybe you talk with the website developer and you're talking about the keywords that should be on your website. So that on-page has to do with how optimized is your site for what Google is looking for. What's Google looking for? Google is looking for the headlines of pages having core keywords, keywords in actually, if we go into here, the right keywords, your titles, you have a keyword in the first paragraph, you have SEO friendly URLs, you have good engaging content, your images are optimized, your site's moving is very fast. You're doing linking internally. As you can see here, I don't want to go into the nitty gritty here of all of these elements. Just be aware that these are the things that Google is looking for. And it used to be where you would have to go pay an agency thousands of dollars to go do this for you. I'm going to share with you a tool where that is not the case anymore. So that's on page, right? And I think SEO starts there, right? If you want to move up the rankings, let's say you're on page 2 right now for private schools near me or private schools in Philadelphia, you're on page 2. If you set up your website perfectly, everything is optimized, then if everything is optimized perfectly, that will move you up the rankings. It will move you up ever so slightly. Hey, Chastity, good to have you on. Just got your email, by the way. I'll follow up with you as soon as we're done the webinar. If you do everything perfectly on your website, that will typically move you so far. It could be a couple spots, it could be a page. You never know. It depends a little bit on the competition. It will move you up so far. Then the question is, well, how do we keep moving up? If we've done everything perfectly with our website, how do we move up further? How do we get above? So if you're Whiteland Montessori School, now I have no idea who they are, but if you're Whiteland Montessori School sitting here at number 12, how do we get up here? Well, not there. How do we get here? How do we get above? It might be a little bit hard to get above niche. Google loves these big authority sites, and we're all familiar with niche, right? But how do we get above Center Square Montessori? How do we get above Providence Montessori Schoolhouse? That's really what you need to ask yourself. How do we move up there? So if we're sitting here, I don't know if anybody here is with Whiteland Montessori School. You're using yours as an example because you're at the bottom of page 1. But if you do everything perfectly on your website, that might move you up 2 or 3 spots, maybe. It might. The question is, how do we move up? And this is where, let me come back to the deck. It's called off-page SEO. Anybody here know what off-page SEO is? Off-page means, oh, here we go. Saw a chat come in. No. Okay. Off-page SEO means you have third-party sites linking back to you. Meaning, okay, I'm in the Philadelphia area. The big newspaper publication in the area, Philadelphia Inquirer, right? Newspaper, they got Philly.com. Imagine Philly.com wrote an article about my school and they linked back to my school. I now have what's called a backlink from Philly.com to my school. That the more backlinks you get, the more power your website gets to move up. So what you do with off-page SEO, again, this is typically something that you would have to go pay. If you go Google SEO agencies, I don't know if anybody's ever done this. If you Google SEO agencies and you talk with them and you say, okay, how much are your services? I guarantee you the minimum is $750 a month, upwards of $1,000 to $2,000 a month to do search engine optimization on your website. And in large part, that was because those agencies would have to go and get those links for you. They're getting links back to your website for you. And that takes a lot of work. And so that's why it takes some time to move up, because every month you might get 10, 20, 30 more links, but then you got to keep doing that every single month. So this is a long-term game, a long-term investment. But when you do it and you do it right and you start seeing those rankings, it can create a really nice compounding effect of the amount of traffic going to your website. But at the end of the day, these are the two driving forces of moving up the rankings. And this has never really changed. It's how do we optimize our website, and how do we go get more links from reputable third-party sites that link back to us. That can include press releases. Those are reputable. There's a lot of other ways to do it. There's almost like an unlimited way to get links, but those are the two driving factors. Okay, so let's not. Now, what I want to spend a little bit of time on now is how is AI affecting things, and how might we want to optimize our site? Because I think this might be a quick win for everybody here about how we might want to look at our sites now. Because what we used to do is kind of what I've been typing in: Montessori schools near me. This was the search term. This is, for as long as SEO has existed, this is typically the format that it would come in. It'd be keyword plus geographic area, right? So private schools in Philadelphia. This is what people would type. This is the main keyword. Or elementary schools or kindergarten near me, right? This is what they would type in. What's drastically changing now is that these search queries are becoming, I guess you would call, more personal. So you could do something like, what is the best private school for a kindergartner in Delaware County, PA, right? So it's a little bit more of like you're having a chat, a conversation, which is kind of what we're all getting used to with AI now. So I have this document. I will share this document with everybody. I'll share this here at the end. It's how to get your school recommended by AI search. And I've actually taken a multi-day workshop on this about understanding, learning from Google, learning from these AI platforms as they present it on what they're looking for. So I want to share with you just high level what they're looking for now. And so you could potentially go to make some adjustments on your current website. And if you want some tools to do it, we'll talk about that here at the end. So as I was saying, people are no longer just necessarily typing in keywords into Google. They're asking questions, and that could be in Google, or they go to ChatGPT or some other AI-powered tool. They're asking questions, right? So it's not just private schools near me. They're going to ask a question about what's ranked the best private school in, they're asking these questions. So the big thing that we need to reframe with search engine optimization and AI search is that traditionally what I would talk about are keywords and rankings and traffic. Is that now if you want to show up now these things still apply. Everything I just talked about still applies. But now we also have to think about, how do I show up in an AI generated answer? And I think that is the massive opportunity for everybody right now, because there's going to be significantly less competition to do that, because almost nobody is taking the time to do it. So it's not that we're ranking inside ChatGPT, is that you become a source inside ChatGPT or Google's AI or Perplexity, right? So there are some things that we need to do. And one of those is called schema. Not to again bore you with some terms. Essentially, schema is just a way for these AI tools, the search engines, to understand what it is they're reading. Is this an FAQ section? Is this an answer? Is this an article? Was this written by a real expert? So what they're not looking for now are faceless articles. They're not looking for articles and content without any meat to it. And they really want things structured on your website so that if somebody's asking a question, they can look at your content on your site as the answer. And if they feel that you have the answer, you will get shown now at the top of Google in those AI searches, you will get shown in ChatGPT as a source and as a solution. So you don't want AI to have to guess. And so let me, this is all schema. Okay, hold on. I wanted to highlight one more thing here. I had it on another screen. But I've been talking for a while. Does anybody have any questions about this? About SEO, about these different elements that go into rankings?
I will say this is one of the driest topics we ever talk about, but it's one of the most important.
It does feel that way, right?
And the thing that you said at the beginning that I really appreciate is if a school actually decides to pay for it, the cheapest I've ever seen the service offered for is about $500 a month just for SEO. And I think for a lot of people in our position, this is a mystery. We don't know what the heck causes SEO rankings to go up or down. So really appreciate it. I see we're getting a bunch of comments coming in. Are you seeing them?
Yeah, I just saw them now. Okay. As long as everybody finds it interesting, nobody's going to sleep. That's good. So let me share with you. I had this on another document here, and I'm going to clean this up for you. Bear with me one second. Let me put this in here, and again, I'll share this all with you. Let me copy this. So so I wanted to go in a little bit more detail. Okay, so Survey, how can you use AI tools in our favor? I'm going to share it with you. Look, full disclosure, right? I said in the beginning, I own a software company. The goal of my software company was to solve the biggest problems that marketing and admissions offices have when it comes to juggling tools, when it comes to truly having an all-in-one solution, when it comes to being able to actually use these tools to your advantage to solve this, to solve the parent journey, to not feel like you need to have to go hire agencies to do just a piece of the puzzle or pay a lot of different tools to do all these things. And so one of the things that we've been rapidly adding into our platform is the use of AI, especially when it comes into AI SEO. So I'm going to share with you how to use AI tools now in your favor, because I think you really have to. I think it's just about using AI tools in a very smart and thoughtful way. And we'll talk about how to do that here. So let's talk about how to start doing that when it comes to like traditional SEO. That's what I was saying, like best CRM for schools, right? So that's more my lingo, or best schools near me. This is keyword driven search that I was just going through. What now we look at with AI SEO is how do private schools manage tuitions? Maybe what software do Montessori schools use? Not the best example, but what schools offer financial aid, right? So they're asking questions into the AI. And now, so what you want to be able to do is create question-based content that directly answers these questions. How does this work? Why should you choose a private school versus a public school? Why should you choose a Montessori school versus a Waldorf school, or vice versa, right? So you want to start thinking about now on your website, how do we answer these questions so that they map to the prompts and the questions that people are typing into the AI platforms and to Google. So we want to start thinking about building answer first questions. So if anybody here has a blog, and you're doing blog content, whether you're thinking about doing it or you want to, or you already have one, start thinking about the content that AI does not want fluff. Even though it's very easy to generate fluff with AI, that was always the big criticism. Yeah, I could go to an AI platform right now and type in, write me a blog about why to choose Montessori. Unless you get detailed, you can get a fluff article. So what AI, these engines, what Google wants is they want clear answers that they can pull from. They want to provide the most valuable resources for the user, the person searching. And so does your content answer this question? What is the thing? Give an answer. And this is actually the structure you should utilize to show up. Here's your headline. Here are the pros and cons, right? This is how you should structure this content. So the good news is that if you create content like this on your websites, now this could be about not even just a blog, but your program pages, that it will rank in the classic SEO. It will get pulled into AI summaries. It can get cited by Perplexity. So I don't know if anybody's ever used Perplexity. It is a very common AI platform out there, not as big as ChatGPT, but Perplexity is really known for giving sources and citing sources. So people love it for content and content research, and it'd be great if you could get cited in there. So what these become are like we call AI optimized pillar pages. And so what also Google is looking for, what AI is searching for, is that you have in every article a bio with credentials, written or reviewed by, have real photos, not stock photos, testimonials that are very specific, or case studies, but testimonials. And you want it to seem as valuable and as authoritative as possible. All right. Now, this is where we start talking about backlinks. So AI search loves third-party confirmation. So that's where I was saying about, what if you could get highlighted on an industry blog? What if you could get highlighted in local press or in somebody else's blog post or on news sites or PR sites or press releases? So this is the big one. This is what really moves you up the rankings in classic search and helps ensure you get shown in AI search. And then there's the Google AI overviews. That was what we were talking about before, which was this. This is an AI overview. How do you get shown here as a top resource? And so again, it's good to know that Google AI, the overviews are not replacing SEO, but they are going to sit on top of it. So making sure you have all that schema stuff that I was talking about. And again, this is something that if you want to dig into this, we can help you get set up with this. And then if you want to use an AI tool, having AI understand your organization, your brand, and then using that to create content on your website so that it does seem authoritative without you having to write it all yourself. And so we actually recommend creating what's called like AI bait content. So a simple explanation of a really complex topic. Comparison articles, Montessori versus Waldorf, what's the difference? The complete guide to the Montessori method, right? Having content like this is becoming more and more important. Content's always been important, but now it's even more important if you want to get used or seen in an AI search. Okay, those are the main things I wanted to go over. So I think the key takeaways for me is, if you're creating content, make sure you have authors listed, ideally with credentials like, hey, this is written by our teacher. This teacher has 20 years of experience, things like that. That even though you're with a school and your school website is by its nature authoritative, this will help you as well. I guarantee you almost most schools are not doing this. And I think this is the big opportunity, is to get those backlinks. And I'll share with you some SEO tool or AI tools to do that. So again, as we're about a quarter to the hour here. Any questions on this? Okay. So the real question is, though, is how do you do this, right? as I started this session, I was like, this whole SEO thing, like you could spend your entire day just doing this stuff, 20, 30 hours a week just doing this, getting links, optimizing your website, writing blog posts, all of that. I mean, the good news is now is that again, and that's what I was saying before. If you want, I'm happy to share. If you're all okay with it, I will share kind of how we've integrated into our software. And I will say, I know some of you on here are using our software. Some of you are not. If you're not, you can get this SEO tool without getting the software. If you're using the software, we can add this on now. If you're not, it's not already added on. I know we have a lot of schools now that are adding this on, but it is this concept um, of AI SEO. So here now, this is our Growth Suite software. Now there's this SEO section at the top, and what you can see here is first, this tells you exactly what's going on with your website. How many backlinks are you getting? How many keywords are you ranking for? It audits your site to tell you how healthy it is. Um, it will tell you your trend with backlinks. It'll show you the keywords that you're ranking for, where you rank, how much traffic you're getting, how difficult it is to rank for those keywords. But then here's the really cool stuff that if you launch the advanced SEO module, this is where you can actually let AI just do the optimization for you. So that can give you really good data. But if you don't want to do all this yourself, we have AI SEO. So this is the big thing now where this can tell you exactly the content to write, exactly which pages to update, what needs to be fixed. This needs to fix a sitemap or fix these images. And then you can push a button and it'll say, would you like to fix it? And you can click and go ahead and fix it. So if you just did this once a month, this will take care of all of your SEO. And what's really cool is you can see here LLM visibility. That's your AI tools. So how visible are you in the AI search? ChatGPT, Gemini, Perplexity, Copilot, Grok, Google AI. It could show where you're showing up in these search engines or in these AI tools, and what are people typing in to actually get seen in here as well. It's pretty cool. And this is all AI generated. So this will tell you what issues are, how you're ranking, what your opportunities are, and then literally you just have to press a few buttons and it'll do it for you. Write an article on this keyword. Write an article on the keyword, how to fix your titles on your website. This will tell you exactly what you need to do. So really excited about this in terms of helping schools show up higher in search. So if you're not already ranking in a top 3 for some of these main keywords, this will help you do it and tell you exactly what you need to do in order to do it. So here's why I offered everybody on here. Especially if SEO is a little bit foreign to you, or you're like, hey, I get it, I just don't have the time to do it, or how do I find out what keywords we rank for? If we can book some time and we'll run a report for you, and that report will look something like this, and it'll show you the keywords you're ranking for, where you rank in the search engines, how visible you are in the AI tools, how much volume you can get, what your opportunity is, and how difficult it is to rank. We'll give you that report, and it's up to you what you want to do with it. If you want to use the software to improve your SEO, you can. If not, no big deal. The report is yours. It's free. So I'll give you a link here if anybody wants to book some time, book a demo. I do see that there was a question here. Can a school just launching have a website with great optimized content since there are no major activities yet? It is a great question. So in order to learn even more about AI SEO, I was a part of a 4-day summit on AI SEO. And the whole demo that they did with AI SEO was they went through it with a brand new website and about how quickly now using these AI tools and AI generated content that if you set it up and structure it in the right way, you can see page 1 and top rankings faster than you ever could before. That's not to say you're going to rank for every keyword tomorrow, because there can be a lot of competition. but it'll give you your best opportunities. So the long and short of it is, if you're launching a new website, that's a great opportunity to start from the best point possible. And then whether you rank immediately or you're setting yourself up for future success, as I mentioned before, the best time to do this was yesterday. The next best time is today, because there is a bit of a waiting game with some of these elements. So, Serby, you said your website is really old and outdated. Do you suggest we work on the website before book a time with you? No, not necessarily, because we can actually give you the report to tell you what you should work on rather than you having to guess. It can tell you exactly, hey, fix this title. Here's a keyword that, hey, you're ranking number 10. If you do these couple things, you could get to a top 3 ranking. So if you want to do a demo, um, let me just book some time here. I'll put this in the chat. Go ahead and book some time, and we'll do this report in here. So we'll demo. We'll demo the SEO. If you want to take a look at the software with some of the other things that it can do, we can talk about that as well. But the focus of this will be on the SEO report that we can give to you, and it'll help you identify how to move up those rankings and what those keywords are that we should be looking at. So yeah, I think this is really exciting stuff. If we were having this conversation, geez, even 2 years ago, we probably wouldn't be, even a year ago, we wouldn't really be talking a whole lot about AI SEO. But if we had an SEO webinar, it was going to be getting into a lot more depth about this stuff. And this stuff still applies, but with how fast AI is moving now and the tools that we have available, you can actually do SEO without feeling like a full-time gig or hiring $1,000 a month agency.
I think it's really important. I mean, one of the things that I really notice about, one of the reasons why I've been, become so close to you and so supportive is you're the first person I've seen that's using AI in an extensive manner and allows you to provide your service for dramatically less than what I know. My family is an advertising agency, and I've worked with a lot of the Montessori and private school agencies from ISM to, Nido marketing and so forth. And they have to do it by hand at this point because AI, even though it's coming along so quickly, it is so expensive to use and so complicated to hardwire in. It's really tricky. I've watched what your software can do, and I don't want to propose to anyone that it's perfect. It's not. It requires a lot of Clint's time. But one of the things I have to constantly keep on top of Clint on is, there's not enough of you to do everything, and we need to work more closely together to make sure that every school's needs are met. But the bottom line is what Clint is saying is kind of dry and it's kind of boring unless you're really into it, but it's freaking magic and it's amazing. And one of the things that it's doing is it's making it less expensive to get the quality of care that we used to get from, frankly, Chicago or New York City or San Francisco advertising agencies. So this can make a big difference in terms of parent satisfaction, clarity of message, number of inquiries, number of sales. I mean, there's a lot to this, and it still requires us to be on top of things, but it's an incredibly powerful tool. So thank you, Clint.
Absolutely. Thanks, Tim.
Anyone else have
Everybody.
anything you want to ask or say? Because again, we really appreciate when you jump in and, say yes, but, or throw us a specific situation you're dealing with. Well, while we're waiting to see if anyone raises their hand, I just want to say that I realize we are approaching the holiday break. Clint, I don't know if are we going to do this next week? I'm perfectly happy to, but you may not want to.
The the Tuesday? Is that the 23rd?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I'm good for it.
Okay. So what we might want to do is hold an open forum for those of you who just want a opportunity not to be lectured to, but to talk with each other and talk with us.
Yeah.
Again, between Clint and I, you got about $500 an hour worth of our time. I hope you appreciate it and hope you take advantage of it. Because frankly, I do it because I enjoy it and I'm glad to do it. Um, but I want to acknowledge that you are probably getting ready to go down the ski slope. This is re-enrollment time. And we have lots to do in every one of our schools, from getting our contracts ready to set out, making sure the board, if they haven't already approved the budget, that the budget has been set. Hopefully it was set correctly. By the way, we did a really good Thursday workshop a couple of weeks ago with my son, Mark Selden, who has got a doctorate in this kind of policy. And he really talked a lot about the strategy of setting tuition and the how to set your budget correctly and so forth. If you haven't heard that, it's all on the Montessori Foundation's YouTube page. And, if you want help, the Montessori Foundation does marketing analysis, and we help people to try to solve the really weird problems. I mean, I'm sitting here at one of my friends' schools, Rockbridge Montessori in Oakland, California. They're a great school. They've been around for, what, 50 years, Sandy? 40 years. Um, and two campuses. One campus is full, and the other campus, man, we're having a hard time getting people to call. And, it's not, these things are not always obvious. It really takes deep dives and multiple conversations to get to the bottom of why is something working and why is something not working. The bottom line is every single one of these kids is precious to us. They're precious because we love them. They're precious because our teachers love them. Usually they love them. Maybe they want to strangle them, but they probably love them. And their parents are really special. And every time we lose one of these kids, it's not that we couldn't fill their space. It's that it leads other parents to say, well, maybe I should leave. So every time we're able to, one, try to minimize the chance that someone will go to another school, and every time we're able to make sure that every single seat in the school is filled, that's probably worth $20,000, $30,000 to you. And even if your tuition is lower, I doubt it's lower than $10,000 a year. That's a lot of money. So this whole issue of marketing really matters. It really matters. And those of you who do recruitment and admissions for your school, you are the rainmakers. You're the people that make the thing work. Because without those nonprofit dollars, the whole thing comes to a crashing halt. So I think it's really important that we all not take it for granted. Don't assume word of mouth is going to work anymore. It does not. And you're going to have to use every single trick in the book to make it through the next 10 years, is my personal belief, not only because of tariffs and inflation, and there's so many different factors in play that are eating into our ability to have stable enrollments in our schools. This is the days where those schools that are smart and that really pay attention and work hard, we're the ones that are going to survive. And I really believe that's true. And it matters to me. I believe passionately in the idea of school choice and the idea of each one of you, whether you're Waldorf or Montessori or Episcopalian, whatever, you're offering something special. And your competition, as I often say, it's the public schools, and they're free. And they're fighting, by the way, they're fighting for enrollment. So this is a time when the birth rate is falling in the United States. There's fewer and fewer kids to go around. Those of us who work really smart are the ones that are going to stay full. I just cannot emphasize enough how important I believe this is. Any last words from anyone or questions? Because we're here. We're happy to talk. Don't all jump in. It's okay. So Clint, I will see you on Thursday for our other weekly webcast, which is Independent School Leaders Forum. And that's where we deal not only with Reuben, we deal with all kinds of issues of running an independent school, from school law to public policy to, leadership problems, recruiting teachers, you name it. And for this particular webcast, which is Finding the Perfect Match, for those of you who are crazy enough to join us when you're on vacation, we will be here next Tuesday, same time, same place. We'll probably do an open mic, an open forum, and just for those of you who show up, whether it's one of you or 100 of you, we'll be here to talk and see where we at. How we are about to begin the really serious re-enrollment season. The next 3 months will make or break our schools, and we want to help any way we can. Clint, thanks for everything that you do. I really appreciate you. I know how busy you are. I really know how busy you are. I am an old dude, and I just really enjoy doing this work, and I'm happy to let people like you and the other folks that come to these webinars contribute. And this is our gift to myself and to you, and I hope you find it helpful. So thanks, everyone. We will see you next week.
Thanks, Tim. Thanks, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.